Hi, my name is Al Patashnik and I'm going to present you our work, StyleCLIP. In this work, we ask the question, can an image be manipulated with the guidance of text only? And I mean photorealistic images like this one of Leonardo DiCaprio. Let me demonstrate what I mean with a few examples. Let's take this image. Here, by typing the prompt blonde hair, his hair is turning blonde. Next, we type the prompt angry and he gets angry. We can even change his hairstyle into bob cut. Note that these edits are disentangled in the sense that only the relevant attribute is changed. For example, here the hair is changed, but the face remains intact. To do so, we leverage the power of two networks, StyleGAN and CLIP, and together we get StyleCLIP. Conceptually, the idea is super simple, but there are three important issues: speed, disentanglement, and we want to apply it on real images. Okay, let's start by briefly presenting the two networks at a high level. First, CLIP. CLIP can be thought of a function that measures similarity between text and image. It consists of two encoders, one for text and one for images. These encoders were trained to map images and corresponding text into a common latent space. Specifically, CLIP similarity score is the inner product between the embeddings of the text and the image. CLIP was trained on a super large variety of text-image pairs. And now let me briefly review StyleGAN. StyleGAN is the state-of-the-art image generator. It produces synthetic images with extremely high quality. But StyleGAN is much more than just a great generator. Its latent spaces have been shown to be disentangled and to offer editing capabilities. Recently, many works propose methods that employ its latent space in order to edit images. This method can manipulate semantic attributes such as age, eyeglasses, pose, hair color, and so on. Many of these methods edit the image through a latent space traversal. That is, given a latent vector W, which corresponds to some image, they find a path in the latent space such that traversing along this path changes certain attribute of the image. In this example, the pose is changed. StyleGAN has several latent spaces. First, Z, which is a normal distributed space from which images are sampled. StyleGAN has an additional latent space, which is a learned one, and is called W. W has been proven to better fit for image editing compared to Z. W plus is an extension of W, which provides more expressive power and specifically allows to represent real images. S, or StyleSpace, has been shown to be very powerful for image editing. S is even more disentangled than W+, and each channel in it controls a single semantic attribute of the generated image. We introduced three approaches for employing CLIP in the latent space navigation, and each of them has pros and cons. First, the latent optimization approach, in which we optimize the latent code so that it produces an image with high similarity to the target, but still remains close to the original one. Second, the latent mapper approach, in which we train a network that receives a latent code and returns an offset. The image is generated from the sum of the offset with the original latent code and has high similarity with the desired text. This network is trained for a specific text prompt. And finally, the global direction method, which transforms a textual direction in CLIP space into a direction in StyleSpace. Let's now dive a bit deeper into each of the approaches. In the optimization, and actually in all the methods, we begin by inverting the image. That is, we find a latent code which corresponds to the input image. For the optimization, we then duplicate the latent code and insert it into the pre-trained StyleGAN to obtain an image. We then measure the similarity between this generated image and the input text using CLIP. We use this score to update the duplicated code through gradient descent. But we also want to stay close to the original latent code because we want to preserve the input image. For this, we use L2 loss between the original code and the optimized one. To further preserve the identity of the person in the input image, we use identity loss, which is measured through a pre-trained face recognition network. To sum up, we optimize this expression through gradient descent. Here are some results produced by the optimization approach. Note that these edits are quite unique, and obtaining supervision for them is not easy or actually impossible. And here are more examples. Observe how we can make Carrie to look like Mark Zuckerberg. Let's move now to the mapper approach. Again, we begin by inverting the image. The latent code is then inserted into a network called mapper, which is text-specific and returns an offset. We then add this offset to the input latent code and insert the result into the pre-trained StyleGAN. Then StyleGAN returns some image. This is the forward pass of the mapper. We now need to answer the question, how do we train this network? We use several losses. Clip loss, which measures the similarity with the text, L2 loss, which makes sure that the offset is small, and ID loss, which encourages the mapper to preserve the identity. Observe the cool haircut edits that are possible to obtain using the latent mapper. And here there are more examples. As you can see, it is super easy to obtain a rich variety of realistic and convincing hairstyles using natural language. I will now turn to present the global directions approach. Here, our goal is to find the global direction in StyleSpace, such that by traversing along this direction, the target attribute is modified for an arbitrary image. For example, here we show a global direction of gray hair. Note that for the three examples, the same direction is applied, and that is why we refer to it as a global direction. And here is another example. Here, the global direction is for the prompt happy dog. We now need to answer the question how to find the direction given a text prompt. But first, let me explain the relation between StyleSpace and ClipSpace. A direction in StyleSpace, denoted by delta S, has a corresponding direction in ClipSpace, denoted by delta I. We find delta I by applying the image encoder to a pair of before and after images. Now, this direction should agree with the direction in ClipSpace defined by the text and denoted by delta T. We use two text prompts to define a direction in ClipSpace. For example, here we use a photo of a face and a photo of a smiling face. And now we can go in the opposite direction. We start with the target text prompt. We then construct a pair of prompts which correspond to a text direction in ClipSpace, and then we construct a matching direction in StyleSpace. This direction in StyleSpace consists of 9,088 dimensions, which is the number of channels in StyleSpace. So for each channel, we measure how much the direction of that channel in ClipSpace is parallel to the text direction. More specifically, I will now explain the process for each channel. For channel C, we perturb it, generate the images before and after the perturbation, and then encode them using CLIP. This gives us a direction in CLIP denoted by delta IC. Then we take the target direction, delta T, and measure the inner product between these two directions. This gives us the relevance of channel C to the target direction. The relevance is the scalar beta C. Now, if this beta C is larger than some threshold beta, then on channel C of the direction in S, we put beta C. Otherwise, we put 0. We call beta the disentanglement parameter. In this example, we change the hair into gray. As can be seen, as we decrease beta, the edit affects other attributes beside the hair. In this example, it affects the age. For a high enough value of beta, we get a disentangled edit, as you can see in the first row. And here are some results. Here you can see traversal along the direction corresponding to the target text, which is written below the images. Observe the high disentanglement of the edit. And here are more results on those. Observe the variety of possible edits and the variety of the domains in which we can use StyleCLIP. And here are some examples of car manipulation. And we can even manipulate churches. As I mentioned before, each approach has pros and cons. For example, training a mapper for a new prompt takes several hours, while finding a direction is immediate. The inference using the mapper and the global direction is immediate, while optimization takes more than a minute. The disentanglement of the global direction edit is the best, thanks to the careful construction of the direction in StyleSpace. The optimization and the mapper succeed in manipulating identity, while the global direction is not good enough for that. So in summary, manipulating images with CLIP is both easy and fun. Sometimes it's surprising how well CLIP conveys the meaning of a simple phrase as a change in the image. Thank you for listening. We invite you to read the paper and to check out our GitHub repository, in which a lot of materials are available, including a live demo website. And now, before I will end this presentation, I will display a series of results.